Thank you very much for this very friendly introduction. I want to continue with the German accent, if you allow. First of all, I want to say a great thank you to all the people and all the teams who are organizing this excellent conference. I feel very fine over here, and I'm very grateful that you invited me. Before I want to talk about the role of the Special Operations Command 11 from the Federal Police in the German architecture. Allow me to give you some background information about the organization I'm responsible for. I just want to deliver some small information. I don't want to bother you too long with this. But as it was mentioned, we were founded in the 1st of August 2017 after several terror attacks occurred in Germany and occurred also in whole Europe. And our purpose was to, and still is, to strengthen the crisis management and the crisis response capabilities. We are trying to professionalize handling complex situations, and we are missioning, fighting terrorism, extremism, and all kinds of organized crime. We are delivering special services and advice to all security agencies on the federal level and on the state level in our country. We are conducting domestic missions, and we are conducting missions abroad, for instance, solving hostage rescue situations as far as German hostages are concerned. We are deployed in 40 locations all over Germany, and in addition, of course, in the German embassies abroad. We are having a high operational readiness and mobility. We are acting with speed and surprise. Under my command, I have to lead 6 organizations. First one has been mentioned already. It's the Counter-Terrorism Unit, GSG-9, which is the counterpart of the Israeli Yamam and the hostage rescue team of the FBI, if you want to have a comparison. Second organization I'm responsible for is the helicopter regiment of the Federal Police with 94 helicopters, guaranteeing our mobility and our speed. Third organization is the Diplomatic Security Service. As a service for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we are responsible for the close protection of the German ambassadors, and we are giving security advice to the staff of the German embassy and to the ambassadors themselves. Fourth, we are responsible for the unit of the Sky Marshals. Fifth, we are responsible for an operational technology and digital forensics division. You can also mention in this circumstance the responsibility for counter drone measures and in addition also for active drone measures. And last but not least, we are responsible for the bomb disposal unit, which is deployed in 15 locations all over Germany in order to be operational ready on time when it's needed. Before I start to talk about our role in the German architecture, I want to tell you where we are coming from. I think if I will tell you where we want to go to and where we are standing actually, it is very important to know where you can find our roots. And for this reason, I would like to ask the staff to dim the light and to start with a 2-minute video. Please dim the lights. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 50 years since the dreadful terrorist attack against the Israel team at the Munich Olympic Games brought a lot suffering to the victims and to their relatives. It also brought another dark shadow on the relationship between Israel and Germany. Once more, I could feel and see this during the commemoration ceremony 1 week ago at the site of the terror attack, especially when I spoke to the representative of the victims, Mrs. Anki Spitzer, to representatives of the Israeli government, and to my friends from the security agencies in Israel, especially from the police. But, as you could see in the video, with deep mutual respect and in memorial of the victims, there is another side of the coin referring to the last 50 years. Nowadays, the Israeli counter-terrorist unit Yamam and the German counter-terrorist unit GSG-9 are practicing a very close brotherhood, friendship and cooperation. It is my honor to be part of this side of the history, and I'm very proud to call the respected commanders and fighters from the Yamam my personal friends and comrades, as well as many respected officers from other security agencies in Israel. Ladies and gentlemen, the last 50 years of our history in Europe and in Germany have been marked by acts of terrorism, always closely followed by reaction on the part of the state. This brings us to the questions. What have we learned and what must we do in the future? One of the consequences of the tragedy at the Olympic Games in 1972 was the most severe diplomatic crisis since the beginning of relations between Israel and Germany in 1965. At the same time, the event is taken as a central reference point, marking the stepping up of international cooperation on matters of internal security in Germany. I would like to highlight 2 milestones in operational and tactical cooperation in particular in this context. First, I would like to look at capacity building. Following the German security authorities' failure in Munich, the basis for capacity building was laid with the founding of the first Special Operations Forces in Germany, the GSG-9. The founding of GSG-9, nowadays a part of the federal police, was the only structural change made in the interests of security policy at the time. At this point, I would like to highlight to the Israeli members of the audience the key support that we received from Israel. You, the victims of the international terrorist attack in Munich, provided General Ulrich Wegener, the first commander of GSG-9, access to your world-leading operational know-how, which was essential for the founding of GSG-9 on 26 of September 1972. We remain deeply thankful to you for that. Second, I would like to make some remarks on Europe-wide tactical networking and skills retention and development. Again, it was a series of terrorist attacks, the attacks of 9/11, that served as a catalyst for change. These events prompted the European Union to form what is known as the Atlas Network, which has become a forum for special intervention units from all 27 member states of the European Union, in addition to units from associated states. In between, the network has been attached to Europol. These examples show us that from the legacy of the dreadful events at the 1972 Olympic Games has emerged a success story of international cooperation at operational level, closely combined with the founding of GSG-9, as well as other German and European special units. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to look at the national cooperation within Germany. National cooperation within the existing security architecture in Germany in the field of counterterrorism had to focus challenges for years. The main reason for this is the growing number of persons with extremist tendencies, particularly in the spheres of religious extremism and right and left-wing extremism. In recent years, the most aggressive and militant forms of these have also led to acts of terrorism. An additional factor is a range of anti-constitutional activities. All of these variations on extremism are colored, although in varying degrees, by anti-Semitism. Under the circumstances, one question is raised quite regularly. How do we share and how do we execute responsibility? Finding at least a part of the answer, we must consider the history of Germany after the Second World War, which led us to a structure of federalism. Federalism, and to some extent the obligatory strict separation of the tasks and organization of the police and the intelligence services in Germany, contribute to the ongoing trend of sharing responsibility. This situation means we have some 40 security authorities in Germany, each of which has partial responsibility for counterterrorism. In addition, we have 2 joint centers to counter extremism and terrorism. The will to implement structural changes in Germany's internal and external security has been shown. As a basis for this, and due to the coalition contract of the acting German government, a comprehensive national security strategy is to be drawn up by the end of 2022. An overview of the current situation is to be obtained, and the existing security architecture is to be evaluated. What is the bottom line? We need a turnaround like the one we saw post-1972, because change only benefits those who are prepared for it. The ongoing destabilization of the geopolitical situation due to factors such as climate change, global energy supplies, migration, and not least terrorism show how urgently we must act. One approach to handling complex crisis scenarios in Germany could involve establishing a process-focused, clearly structured central unit in the form of a permanent office for crisis management at a high level of decision-making. This would ensure the ability to respond immediately to pressing developments. In line with the spectrum of potential scenarios, we could deploy further expert units or modules flexibly on an ad hoc basis. Such units or modules would be reflected in the forward-looking creation of new networks and would be directly linked to the central unit. This would enable us to act jointly as a single body. We must give greater priority to rapid action and flexible organization models in crisis management than we have done up to now. We need a new holistic approach to speed, adaptability, and resilience, ensuring we can achieve all 3. In addition, we must streamline vertical and horizontal management and organization structures and provide them with clear and explicit competences. We should push forward with national and international networking and policing, intelligence, and military spheres with greater pooling of our collective resources. To achieve this, we will need to apply interdisciplinary strategic foresight involving a wide range of methods. This can then serve as a motor for developing intervention scenarios and the associated capabilities. Ladies and gentlemen, 1972 and the changes that emerged from the dreadful events in Munich have left a lasting mark on us in Germany. We must harness the ethos that emerged at that time, the courage to make changes and the willingness to take necessary risks. And we must use it to bring together our strategic goals and patterns of actions with their tactical and operational counterparts. In other words, we must have the courage to seize opportunities. It is this courage and willingness to take necessary risks that still today form the basis for demanding and implementing change. We must exploit all of the expertise available to us so that we can combat the global phenomena of extremism and terrorism. Thank you very much for your attention.